Hello, it's Johnny Campbell here, the Transition Man. I want to welcome you to this webinar called From Toastmaster to Paid Professional Speaker. It's a great honor to deliver this particular webinar because I know there are lots and lots of Toastmasters out there who would love to be able to take their Toastmasters experience and turn that into becoming a paid professional speaker. And what I want to do here is really in this webinar share with you how a guy who never won the World Championship of Public Speaking or even his local district contest turned his Toastmaster speech into a six-figure speaking business, and how you can do the same thing even if you're starting from scratch. Now, just a little background about myself for those that have not had I've had the opportunity to meet or connect with. I am an accredited speaker, and as of this recording, there are still less than 100 in the world. And I'm a Toastmaster Hall of Fame speaker because I got inducted to the Speakers Hall of Fame. I'm the past president of the National Speakers Association for the state of Illinois, Wordsmith of the Year for the National Speakers Association for Illinois, a TEDx speaker, a Vista speaker. As of this recording, I've done 20 plus years of professional speaking experience. I've spoken and appeared in movies and television, and I'm a published author as well. In this presentation, I will be discussing income. And whenever you talk about income, it's something for you to remember is that results may vary in accordance to your skill, your ability to apply what I'm talking about. Also, in your own personal expectations. The amount of money that I'll talk about in this webinar may be money that you have decided that you do not want to make, or that you've decided you want to make more than what I'm going to talk about. So every earning that I'm talking about are my results. Your results will definitely vary in accordance to your ability to apply the information, to take action, and once again, to take action. That's really comes down to. I always show this slide here is just giving you an example that I'm a regular guy, a regular speaker, but I've had the opportunity to speak at conferences and events and share the stage with these type of noteworthy thought leaders, celebrities, and experts in their field. And it's all been because of how I've approached my business as a professional speaker. I've had the opportunity to do a TEDx talk a couple of years ago. My TEDx talk was called How an Enemy Can Improve Your Life. And if you go to YouTube and you search that out, you'll be able to see my actual TEDx talk that I presented on. As I said before, 2007, I was inducted into the Speakers Hall of Fame, and that was a great honor to be one of those special few that have currently hold that designation inside of Toastmasters. So what I want to do here now is just really go ahead and get started and jump into this presentation. Now, my story as becoming a paid professional speaker really starts, and I'll just share this briefly with you, is that before I was a paid professional speaker, I had worked in corporate America. I was a trainer, I was a claims adjuster, and I even sold insurance. So I spent a little over 10 years in that industry before I became a professional speaker. And that time in corporate America, along with other experiences in sales, becomes the foundation and the basis for my career as a professional speaker. So the one thing that I would tell every Toastmaster is make sure that when you decide you want to be a professional speaker, understand you have to have a background from somewhere that can transfer over into your career as a paid professional speaker. So that background in insurance, dealing with change, dealing with sales, dealing with customer service and leadership was the foundation in which I built my speaking business. Then I joined Toastmasters along the way. And as I joined Toastmasters, that allowed me to cultivate and structure my presentations so that I could deliver talks that really help and empower people. And I've been a full-time paid professional speaker for the last 20 years. This is what I do 100% of the time. I don't do anything else. And so that's really the backstory of how I became a professional speaker. And as I mentioned before, I've never won the world championship of public speaking. I didn't even win my district contest. And that's why I'm sharing that with you, is because as you listen to my story, as you listen to what I'm going to share, you're going to begin to see that you don't really need those things to be successful. They can help absolutely, and they're great marketing pieces. And I don't take away the value of those that have won it. But I want you to understand you can still become a professionally paid speaker without those things. I was already making a living, earning income long before I became an accredited speaker. So I want you to understand that your journey really starts today with the message you're listening to now, because you can do it. You can begin this process, and you don't need those things in order to be successful, but you do need a willing heart, a desire to learn, and a willingness to invest your time, your energy, your resources into your growth and development. So, our mission is how to go from Toastmaster to paid professional speaker. Now, when it comes to getting started, people have a lot of questions about how do we really get started? How do we start this process off? So, what I want to do here is I want to break the process down into components. The speaking business breaks down into two structural components. It is the presentation, that's what you say, and the distribution, who you say it to. So there's always been two parts to this process. You have to deliver a talk, a speech, a presentation to an audience, but you also have to deal with distribution. You have to be able to market and distribute that message out into the marketplace. In other words, you have to market yourself, you have to market the message, you have to continually market yourself in order to get the business off the ground. A lot of times, some people are great at marketing, but they have a terrible talk. But most people have a pretty good talk, but they're not marketing themselves enough. And that's what this webinar is really focused on, is marketing yourself so that you can get paid to speak. Now, what I want to show you though is some structure here on the presentation side first. Presentation and speech structure. What I did, I had a talk that I'd already been delivering. But what I did was, through Toastmasters, I went and I looked at the first 10 speeches of the manual, and I made sure that my presentation was meeting the first 10 speeches in the manual. Now, I'm aware that we are going through a transitional period right now, and maybe we've already gone through it by the time you're listening to it into pathways. But if you're listening to this, understand that these are still the core competencies that a Toastmaster will need to have in their tool belt when they craft their presentation. So when you're crafting it, of course, having understanding what an icebreaker is, organizing your speech, getting to the point, how to say it, your body speaks, body language, vocal variety, research your topic, getting comfortable with visual aids, which is PowerPoint, learning to be a persuasive speaker on stage, and learning how to inspire. These are all the key components that any professional speaker has and possesses. That's why when you craft your speech, these components need to be there. When I developed my speech, the first one before Toastmasters, I didn't understand these things. But once I understood how they work, now they're in all of my presentations, and it made all the difference. So I'm saying that to everyone that's listening here, is to remember these core principles when you're structuring your speech. Also, just briefly, I created another program outside of this program called Presentation Training Course. In that course, if you go to riseupandwin.com/present, you will get all the details on that particular course and how it can help you craft a better presentation. This course that you're looking at is all about how to be a better presenter. The course you're currently listening to now, the webinar you're listening to, is all about how to get paid to speak. Remember, I told you there are two components. There's the presentation, and then there is the distribution. So in this particular course is all about the presentation part. Once again, you want to learn how to be a better presenter, go to riseupandwin.com/present, and you'll get all the details there as well. And if you are interested in that, please be sure to shoot me a note on that, and I'll give you a special discount on it. Okay, I got it now. I'm sure that's what you're saying, Johnny. I got it now. But the question is, how do I get paid to speak? And that's what we're going to talk about in just a minute. What I want to do first is I want to share with you the four myths about this business of speaking. Because I think it's very important that now that you made a decision that you want to go down this path, that you understand that this marketplace is filled with individuals who will tell you things that really are not 100% true. There are circumstances and situations that have allowed them to pull off that situation, but when they speak in such absolutes, they give the illusion that anyone can do it. And there are really some true myths that have to be dispelled because I don't know if you're, as you listen to this, if you're the exception to the rule or not. So let me just share with you some of the myths. The first myth is that the message myth, and that one is I have a message that everyone should hear. First and foremost, no one has a message that everyone should hear. If you believe you got a message that can benefit everyone, it will help no one. Everyone's message is truly designed to reach a specific group of people with a specific problem who are looking for a specific solution. No one has one speech that, if they say it, helps everyone. So please remember that as you develop your speech. Say, I'm going to develop this to help a specific group of people with a specific problem so that I can truly help them be more successful. Do not say I have a message for everyone because if you have a message for everyone, you're helping no one. Also, the next one is number 2, the 10K speech myth. When you're starting out as a professional speaker, you may actually hear people talk about how making they can make 10K a month. Well, when you're starting out, 10K a month is hard to make because no one knows you. You've not established any credibility, any positioning, any branding. It is hard to make 10 grand a speech. And first and foremost, 10 grand a speech is the border of going from a working speaker to a celebrity speaker. Anyone that's making over 10K a speech is not getting hired because of their content, their knowledge, and understanding. They're getting hired because of their status. They are a celebrity and they are famous, and the client that hired them isn't hiring them necessarily for their wisdom. They're hiring them for the attraction. They are a celebrity, and people will come just to meet that person, to connect with that person, and to see that person. They might not necessarily want to hear what that person has to say about anything particular because anyone making over 10 usually has built a celebrity status, and that's why they're getting paid. So that's really what the 10K operates from. As myself, I'm a working speaker. So my fees fluctuate from 4,500 up to 8,500 to deliver a 1 hour talk. It just fluctuates on circumstances, situations, and marketplaces. And most working speakers, that's where their fees are. Next, number 3, the $1 million speaker myth. If you go, and I appreciate you listening to my webinar, but if you ever hear anyone talk about helping you become $1 million speaker, you need to run from them. There is no one that can make you into a $1 million speaker. If you're ever going to make $1 million, you're going to make $1 million. No one can take you from zero and cause you to become a $1 million speaker from scratch. In order to do something like that, you have to come to that person with certain financial elements in place, a marketplace, an audience. You have to have a lot of things already in place before someone can take you and elevate you to that level of financial status. The goal for anyone that's listening to this is to make your first $50,000 as a professional speaker. Once you learn how to make $50,000, then you can move forward and start making more money from it. That's how I built my business. After I made my first 50, then I was able to make my next 100,000, and I kept progressively growing and building. So that once again, the $1 million speaker myth is truly a myth. Number 4, the speaking circuit myth. I've heard this one said before. Well, Johnny, once I get on the speaking circuit, everything will be okay. Let me tell you something. There is no speaking circuit. After 20 years of speaking, there is no circuit to get on. That doesn't exist. What happens is this: there are some conferences and events that have speakers speak at multiple locations for their conferences. I've had the opportunity to do that. I've spoken within an industry. They had 5 events in a year, and they hired me for all 5 events. That was the closest I've ever been to a speaking circuit. The only way that you're ever going to really be on this speaking circuit is if you create it yourself. You literally have to create a opportunity to speak in multiple locations on your topic, which means you have to call up, book the venue, book the event, book the venue, book the event throughout the country to create this speaking circuit. But there is no circuit that currently exists that you can get on. And if you do see people that appear to be on one, look closely at that. They have connections, they have relationships, and that's why they're getting put on those events that are appearing around the country. But there is no place for us to go when we decide we want to be a speaker and then get on a circuit. So I just wanted to make sure that I shared that, because that's a big myth that people have about the business. Now let's get moving toward the truths. The truths. Here are the truths. You must be clear on this: your message slash your speech. What is the problem that you solve? Number 2, who are your buyers and audience members? 3, methods for marketing to them, and where to find speaking opportunities. This right here is the real truth of the business. You have to develop a message that solves problems and offers solutions. You have to get clear on who your buyers are. In other words, the people that hire you. Then you got to be clear on the audiences that the buyer is hiring you to speak to. Number 3, you got to get clear on your marketing methods. How are you going to market to them? How are you going to get in contact with them? How are you going to reach them? You got to get clear on how you're going to do these things. And these things are generally governed by the buyers and the audience you're trying to speak to. And of course, where to find speaking opportunities. You've got to get good at being able to find speaking opportunities. And there are resources and there are places to find leads, not the gig itself, leads. In other words, there are locations where you can find leads that can turn into speaking opportunities if you can book it. That is the actual truth of the business. So let's really get started here and dig deeper into this. The 3 secrets for getting paid to speak. Secret number 1 is mindset, who you are. Number 2 is sequence, what you need to do. And secret number 3 is systems, how to find speaking gigs. So let's get started here with secret number 1, mindset. Who are you? What type of professional speaker do you want to be? This is the biggest question when you decide that you want to go from Toastmaster to professional speaker. You have to decide what you actually want to be. And what I've done here is I'm showing you a list of things that you could be, but you have to define it. Now, you may have heard people say, well, I'm a coach, speaker, and author. Well, I'm a speaker, trainer, author. You may have heard people say I'm all of these things. Well, technically, they can be all of those things, but you have to be one thing first. Then allow the other things to play off of the one thing. For example, I'm a keynote speaker first, then I'm a trainer, then I will do virtual webinars, and then finally I will do some coaching. Notice the order of things. I keynote first, then I do trainings, then I do virtual webinars, and then finally I do one-on-one or group coaching in that order. I'm not looking for coaching clients at first. I'm looking for keynotes. I'm looking for trainings. I want to do virtual webinars, and then I'll do coaching in that order. So, and the reason I say that is because you want to be clear on what you are first, because whatever you are first is what you're known for first. See, if you say I'm a coach, then no one's going to book you as a keynoter because they don't look at you as a keynoter. They look at you as a coach. So you got to be clear as to what you are. If you say I'm a trainer, then that's what they'll look at you as, a trainer first. Then they'll look at you as a coach or a consultant. So you got to be very clear as to what you want to be known for first, and then you allow that thing you're known for first to push you and move you into those other areas that you have expertise in. In other words, if you say I'm an author, well, they're not going to hire an author. They want to hire a keynoter. Now, you might be an author who wrote a book, but when they're looking to hire a speaker, they're looking to hire a speaker, not hire an author. So that's why it's very important to be clear on what you are so that when the buyers hear you or meet you, they know how to classify you. What type of professional speaker are you? As you can see right here in this example here, over on the left side, that's me doing a keynote address. Over on the right, that's me doing a training. And right now, you are experiencing a virtual webinar right now. That's what I am, and that's what I do. And that's the predominant base of my business throughout my entire career. Keynoter, trainer, and now virtual webinar presentations. How to get paid to speak. Here are some, really what I think are 7 of the most important things if you want to get paid to speak. Number 1, topic. Specificity is key. You want to be specific as to what you talk about. Now, I talk about change, but change is too general, just like leadership and motivation is. Specificity is when you get really specific about what you're talking about and who you're helping. What I talk about is I help people develop the mental readiness to embrace change so they can make the transition through the change and have the success they're looking for. Notice how specific I am. What I'm talking about is helping leaders, helping organizations going through a change, transition through it, and be successful. When you talk about leadership, get clear on what type of leadership you're helping people with. Customer service or motivation in general, what type of motivation? And also, if you say I'm a coach and I help people as a coach, what type of coach are you? Many people will say, well, I'm a life coach or I'm a business coach. In what specific area? See, life is big. You must pick what category you fit in life. Is it how to deal with divorce? Is it how to raise kids? Is it how to overcome loss and grieving? Get specific because that's how you get paid. So your topic, you want to be specific. You also want to understand, number 2, what makes you credible. Number 3, you want to understand the problems that you're going to address. Number 4, the solutions that you're going to offer people. Number 5, who is your audience? Who is your clients? In other words, you got this topic, you're credible, you're talking about the problem and solution. What audience? Who is the audience that can benefit from it? Or if you're doing coaching, the clients that you're going to help. And then number 6, who are the buyers? Your audience and buyers are 2 different types of people. Sometimes when you coach, your buyers are your clients. But when you're doing regular talks like myself, keynotes and trainings, the buyer is different than the audience member. The buyer is the representative of the audience you want to speak to. So you got to make sure that you're clear on who the buyers are, who hires speakers to talk to the audience that you want to speak to. And then finally, be clear. Do they have conferences and meetings? Some marketplaces, they may have only one event per year. Some actually have chapters. Some have groups. Some have members that extend out throughout the entire country. So you got to get clear as to, okay, these are the people I want to speak to. These are the buyers. How many events do they have? How many events go on in their marketplace? How many people can I speak to? See, I talk in the insurance industry, HR industry. I'll talk to promotional product people. I'll talk to various business groups. And the first thing I'm doing is I'm always thinking about, do they have conferences? Do they have events? Because that's how I'm going to get in and do my talks, which allow me to do trainings, which may allow me to do some coaching in the end. When you do this, now you're going to find your sweet spot. That's where what you're interested in, your passion, your expertise, which makes you credible, and the marketplace meet. And now you're in the right position to have the opportunity to get paid to speak. Secret number 2, sequence. What you need to do. The speaking business structure. What I've laid out here on this screen here is really, in my opinion, the structure behind the business. Now, we will go into a little bit more specifics here in the next slide, but I want you to see an overview of the structure behind a professional speaker. If you're going to go from Toastmaster to professional speaker, here are the components that definitely the structure behind it all. You must identify a marketplace. Inside of that marketplace is an industry that you want to deal with. Like, I'm in the marketplace is the insurance marketplace. The industry are specific types of insurance groups. That's my industry. Audience, that could be salespeople, claims people, various types of individuals that are inside of that industry. In that industry, number 4, I'm solving the problem and I'm offering a solution, which is a product, service, books, CDs. And then number 6 is I'm crafting a speech that supports the solution to the problem, to the audience, to the industry in the marketplace. Everyone listen to me there carefully. I'm crafting a speech based on the solution I have to the problem they have, to the audience, to their industry, and to their marketplace. Those are the components when you're trying to craft a business around in a marketplace and being successful. You've got to have marketing and distribution. You got to market yourself, have a way to reach them. You can get involved with PR and media. You definitely need a demo video, and you have a back-end business. Remember, I'm a keynoter first. Then I do training. Then I do virtual webinars, and then I do coaching. Those are my back-end businesses. The training, the webinars, and the coaching are my back-end businesses. My front end is the keynote addresses that I do. What you need to get paid. Now, when we get really specific here are the things that you really need to have in place in order to start really marketing yourself in a big, aggressive way. You have to have a program with subtitles, a program description, your bio, references, testimonies, your pricing, which is your fee schedule. You have to have a website. You have to have social media presence, PR, media, a demo video, books, CDs, reports. You got to have some content out there. These are the things that nearly 100% of those that are getting paid have in place. Most professional speakers that are earning a living have all of these 10 things in place. In one way or another, they have all of these 10 things. And with that in place, they're able to command a speaking fee for their services. Now, I said before, speaking fees vary in accordance to marketplaces, the topic you're speaking about, and the audiences you're trying to serve. What you need to get paid to speak. Everything over here turns into this right here. You're going to need a speaker one sheet. All of this information here ends up becoming your speaker one sheet, and then you're going to need a demo video. A demo video is you delivering your presentation, and this is important. When you want to get hired as a professional speaker and be paid, and you apply, you submit your one sheet, the client's going to say, we need to see a video of you in action. And that video is how they're making a decision. They might look at your one sheet, they might look at your books and tapes and materials, but they're going to watch a video because they're hiring a speaker. And they want to watch the video to see how you deliver that talk, what your message is like, how the audience is reacting. So one of the most important things that you need to do is start recording yourself and doing videos of yourself speaking to audiences, not just singular videos of you standing in front of the camera talking, but you delivering talks in front of groups. Even if it's for free, you need to get a video of you delivering the talk that you want to get hired for eventually. That's the key. Work on delivering the talk that you want to get paid for and videotaping it. That's one most important thing that you can do to start your success. What you need to get paid, along with a one sheet and a video, products and services. Products and services you can use to market and sell. As a professional speaker, as a Toastmaster that wants to be a paid professional speaker, you will now be entering the content creation business. And when you enter this space, realize that the content that you want to create always supports the message you want to deliver. I'm going to repeat that. The content you want to create should always support the message you want to deliver to an audience. So you might want to create a newsletter. You definitely want to create videos around your topics. You could do webinars, white papers. You could write blog posts, infographics, articles. You could do audio podcasts, pictures to illustrated, ebooks. You could interview people on your topic and add that and create value for people like that. Create lists of things that people can do based on lists. Or, of course, you can write a book. These are the things that paid professional speakers do. You don't have to do them all at once, but you do have to start somewhere. Either you're going to write an article so that you can write a report to end up writing a book, or you're going to create video, and with video you can have it transcribed and turn that into articles or into a book, or you're going to do audio. In other words, you do video, audio, or writing, or you're just a good writer and you write and then you turn those writings into articles, blog posts, ebooks, and into a physical book. These are the things that get you hired. So you want to be able to present these things to people that would want to hire you. Like if you want to be a coach on a certain topic, then you want to write articles on that topic to attract those type of people to you. If you want to get hired to speak on a specific topic, you want to have videos that support that. Now, you may have your demo video of you speaking, but you also want to create other video content that supports the topic that you want to speak on. And of course, a newsletter, something that you can send out to people so they can see your expertise and understand why they should be hiring you. What I wanted to share you here also is a little product development tip. When it comes to developing these type of things, here's an example. You could videotape yourself, or you could have someone else interview you, or you could interview someone. You interview someone. And by doing that, you can start to create products. See, when you videotape yourself giving 10 tips on something, a list of things, you could give that away or you could sell those videos. People will buy those videos. Or you could have someone interview you, and that interview becomes a product because they're interviewing you on your expertise and you're offering solutions to problems people are having. Or you could be the interviewer and you interview someone who's an expert in that area as well, and they're giving free information, which is probably really valuable to those individuals. And then that information you could package and use that to market yourself and sell that as well. The person you interview is getting exposure, of course, because they're doing the actual interview. Now, product production. You could sell the video. You do a video, you could sell the video. You could sell the audio of the video as an MP3. You could transcribe the audio of the video and turn it into an ebook, or you could create an online course on the videos that you produced. And all of this can be done. These are things that are not outside of your ability. I did these things when I didn't have any money, when my money was low, when things were tight. I could do these things. Now it's even easier because now you have your phone that has a great video camera on it. You could download an audio recorder to your phone as an app. There are so many ways. There is freeconferencecall.com where you could interview people on freeconferencecall.com. There are so many mechanisms available to you today that weren't around when I got started back in 1998. Now you have so many tools that you can use. But the key to product development is to always be focused on a specific area about a specific problem, offering a specific solution to a specific group of people. That's where value is identified. Whenever I'm out speaking, I'm always not just customizing my talk to that group, I'm getting specific with that group, so that they can see that I've done my homework and research, and I want to offer them specific solutions to their very specific problems, which allows me to command higher fees and sell more of my products and services to that audience. Here's an example of just some of my products here. I've got audios, I've got books, I've got training programs. All of these things are very specific to specific groups of people. Secret number 3, how to find speaking gigs. In order to find speaking gigs, you got to understand where really the average speaking gig rates. So here's a rule of thumb for appropriate pricing. A starting speaker can earn between 500 to 2500 for a talk, and I encourage everyone listening to this to always start at 2500. Why am I saying that? Because more than likely where you're speaking at, they might not have 2500 when you first start out, but you need to get used to commanding that kind of money at first. Here's what will happen. You say 2500 to speak, they'll say we don't have that amount. You don't say what's your budget. You say what have you allocated for a speaker for this opportunity. That's the phraseology there. What have you allocated for a speaker for this opportunity? You are still worth 2500. You don't want to suddenly say, okay, what you got? What have you allocated for a speaker for this opportunity? You want to be very clear that your value is 2500, but you like to know what they have available. Asking people when they say, well, what's your fee? And you turn around and say, what's your budget? Is tacky to me. It's something that you really shouldn't do. You should state your fee with confidence. Now, if they've got more than that, then they just have more than that. But you need to state your fee, $2,500. And here's the thing, whether you say it in person or over the phone, in my years of experience, when I've said my fee, no one has ever hung up the phone on me or walked away from me. They've merely turned and said, this is what we have available. Then you get to decide if it's worth your time or not based on the opportunity and the possibilities. Now, as you can see here, mid-range speakers who have built a brand have a book earned between 5 to 10. That's the category that I fall in because I meet those category conditions. And then, as I said before, celebrity status speakers. Those are the ones that have become famous for other things. They're actors who speak, football players, basketball, sports people who speak, celebrities, television personalities. All of these individuals can command, politicians can command way more because of who they are versus what they do. It is all about who they are. And eventually, you may become one of those type of individuals where you are looked at as a celebrity. And they just want you there because you are a draw to bring other people to the conference. So once again, understand celebrity status is anyone making over 10 grand. Searching for speaking opportunities here. Here is an example of some places that you can go. There are, whatever marketplace you want to be in, there's always associations and trade groups. So that's what I want you to think about is if I'm an insurance person, so I speak to insurance groups, so my instinct is insurance associations. I'm looking for those type of individuals. I'm looking for trade groups. Could that be chambers of commerce? Could that be some very specific niche industry? Could that be project managers? Think about it this way. Every career out there, there is a trade group or an association with that group. So wherever you are right now, if you say, hey, I'm a teacher, well, there are teaching conferences, and maybe you want to speak at a teaching conference. Think about it for a moment. You're in the medical field, well, there are medical conferences. Think about it for a moment. If you are an entrepreneur and you sell a specific product, think about what marketplaces have conferences on that type of product. Always be thinking that way, and then you'll start to find associations that fit because you don't want to speak any and everywhere. You want to be targeted and focused so you can create the opportunities that you're really looking for. Number 2 is Google Alert. You could do call for speakers or call for proposals. If you set up a Google Alert for call for speakers or call for proposals, you will get alerted anytime any organization is looking for a speaker or calling for proposals. Now notice, that is a general statement. You want to get specific. Call for speakers, insurance industry, teaching conferences. You might want to be much more specific, but initially put in there, in parentheses, call for speaker, and set up a Google Alert, call for speaker, call for proposal, and see what comes back to you. Those are opportunities. Number three is Toastmaster. You are a Toastmaster. And most Toastmasters, what I find, that want to become a paid professional speaker have never even spoken at their own conference. Toastmasters is an excellent place for you to start getting used to speaking at a conference or TLI. So, in other words, if you're listening to this, start saying to yourself, I want to speak at our upcoming spring conference or at our TLIs. And that will give you the opportunity to showcase your talk. See, in Toastmasters, most of the time at a club, it's limited. But at a conference or a TLI, you're going to get 45 minutes, which is exactly what paid professional speakers are paid to do. And that's what you want to get used to, is delivering 45-minute, 1 hour, or hour and a half talks. And Toastmasters is a great place for you to get selected for the conference and be a part of it in that way. And then you get to see what the life is like for a paid professional speaker. Plus, you could sell stuff at a Toastmaster conference. If anyone's heard me speak or watched me speak, you've seen me offer things. No one has to buy, but people generally will buy if you got something that of value that can help them and improve them. Number four is conventions and bureaus. Wherever you are in the country or even in the world, there are conventions and bureaus for your location. Those conventions and bureaus on their website will list all the conferences that are coming to their town, to their city, to their state. And all you got to do is go on there and see who's coming to your town. And then if they fit who you want to speak to, then you call them up and let them know that you're a local speaker in that town and that you would love to speak at that conference. So, for example, I'm in Orlando. So I call up the Orlando Conventions and Bureaus because I said, wow, I look on their site and I see that there's an insurance conference coming to Orlando. And I'm like, okay. So I identify the insurance company that's coming to Orlando to do a conference. And then I call that conference person up for that insurance company and say, hey, my name is Johnny Campbell. I see you're going to be coming to Orlando's Convention Center for a conference. I'm a local speaker in the area. There would be no flight cost or hotel, but I would love to come and speak for your group. And if you reach them early enough, then you never know what could happen. I've had opportunities totally happen to me that way. And I was still able to get my fee, even though I was local, because they felt like, well, we have no flight and hotel costs, so we can pay him what he's asking for. Great technique right there. Number five is colleges. If you are interested in speaking in colleges, I've given you a link here. That is NACA and APCA. These are the opportunities to speak in the college marketplace. These are the two leading organizations that allow one to speak in that space if they're interested. And the thing about speaking in the college space is that once you're in that space, you could get hired over and over again by the same college because every single year there are new students coming in. So that becomes a great situation for you to speak over and over again at colleges. So let's do a quick recap here. What we talked about first, secret was, who are you? Secret number two, what you need to do. And secret number three, how to find speaking gigs. These are the things that I believe are really important to your success. So there you have it. How to go from Toastmaster to paid professional speaker. What I really wanted to share here were those core fundamental things that can get a Toastmaster going to become a professional speaker. Now, as you listen to this here, here's another secret that wasn't in the presentation, but I want you to understand. If you are listening to this and you want to become an accredited speaker, what I've talked about here is the exact process that one would have to go through in order to apply to be an accredited speaker. What do I mean by that? You still have to go out. You're going to have to go out and book paid gigs. You're going to have professional materials. You're going to have credentials. You're going to have a demo video. Everything that I've talked about here is going to be expected of you if you said, I want to become an accredited speaker in Toastmasters. The criteria for accredited speaker is the same criteria that I'm talking about here to be a paid professional speaker. The criteria is similar and almost exactly the same. So that's why what you've listened to here is so important if you really want to make that jump and go from Toastmaster to professional speaker. And what I want to share with you now is I put some together a few things that I really think can help you be more successful. One thing for sure is that over the past 20 years, I've had the opportunity to put on some coaching and some training and some seminars and some live events. And I love live events, but I realize that not everyone can come to a live event and learn. So what I've done is put together a training program for you. And I like to present, and I'm presenting the Poor Man's Guide to Professional Speaking Programs. And the reason that I put this together is because I know what it's like to get started. When I started my career off, I had no leads, no referrals, nothing. And I was already paying bills in my regular life. So I had to find every cost effective, fundamental way of doing the business without going broke in the process. And what I've done here is put together a training program that will truly take you through all the steps to build it and not cost a fortune in the process of building it. So let's get started. Now, in this program that I put together, I call it the Poor Man's Guide to Professional Speaking. It's a 10-hour online video training course. And in this course, I want to share with you what you're going to receive. I talk about how to get started as a professional speaker. In the course, you're going to learn how to go from broke to booked, from free to fee, ideas to income, presentations that sell, becoming the one, LinkedIn marketing secrets for professional speakers, social media, how to build your net worth through networking, and yes, even how to put together the speaking circuit. This right here is 10 hours. Every one of these points here that you see on the screen, each one of them has 50 slides by itself. So in other words, you're going to get 500 slides in the end, but it's going to be 10 hours. Every one of these 10 trainings is an hour long with 50 slides minimum. So I'm going into great detail on every single step you need to take to build your speaking business. This truly will help a person go from Toastmaster to paid professional speaker. And on top of that, what I'm going to include in there is another audio CD, another webinar training, and 2 ebooks, Expert in You and Pursue Your Passion. I'm adding in, besides the 10 hours, you're going to get these additional training pieces to help you even be more successful. The audio, you can listen it to the car, but the CD is also part of the online course as well. So you're going to get to deep dive into this training and really learn how to be truly a paid professional speaker. The ebooks really help you focus on your expertise. The second ebook, Pursue Your Passion, really helps you understand how to turn your passion into an opportunity to make money. And the special for that is $297. Now, normally on my former website, I charge a lot more for this. But because you're watching this webinar, I want to make a very special offer to you. You won't find this anywhere else on my website but in this section you're watching right now. Wherever you're watching this at, that's where the opportunity is. It's not in any other part of my website. And I'm offering this to you as a way to truly get yourself started and be successful. So that's 10 hours, but when you add in the rest here, you're up to 14 hours of online training and learning for only $297. See, one of the things about it that I'm so proud of is that I've had people go through my courses and truly learn how to be more successful. For example, right here, Bill said, Johnny, thank you so much for the information in your speaking course on being a professional speaker. It really helped me understand what it takes to be successful in this business. He points out some of the points and how these things have helped him succeed as a professional speaker. But I want to add something else to it. To help you get started correctly, here's what I'm willing to do. On top of all of the other materials I've already offered you, I'm going to do a website, social media, or business video critique. I will look over your materials to make sure that they are in alignment with you getting paid to speak. So as you develop the website, I'll check it out. As you do more things that are speaker related, I will go in and I will check those things out and give you feedback on what you need to do in order to make it better. So I'll even do a video critique of that. If all you have is a LinkedIn account, I'll review your LinkedIn account to make sure it's in alignment with getting you booked to speak. Notes. I will also provide you in this training with sample documents, promotional materials, my evaluation form I use, my actual speaker contracts that I use to book gigs so that you can see what it looks like to present somebody with a contract. I'll also share with you the rate sheet so that you can see how to set up your speaker rate sheet as well. See, these are the little nuances of the business that aren't often talked about. But you got to learn from someone, and you got to learn how to do it to create the results I'm talking about here. So marketing, cold calling scripts, you got to learn how to market to people. So these scripts help you become more successful at marketing your speaking business, and that's included in that 297. And then finally, because I really want to see you succeed and you're a Toastmaster, I want to help you have a breakthrough. So what I'm willing to do is offer you a one-on-one coaching session so that we can talk about where you're at and where you're trying to go to. And I'm so happy to offer this to you as a Toastmaster. So this is a Toastmaster deal here, where you're also going to get a session with me personally, no one else, and we talk about where you are and where you're trying to go, and I offer you more suggestions and more guidance on how to achieve that. So the Poor Man's Guide to Professional Speaking breaks down in this right here. You're going to get the actual 10-hour course. You're going to get the audios, the videos, the ebooks, me doing a critique, contracts, and a one-on-one coaching session with me. And the special for that is $297. And here's the most important thing. All of this is online in my training center. You will have access to all of these materials for the rest of your life. Lifetime access. Normally, I offer this outside of Toastmasters, and it's only for 1 year, and then you're done. If you got it, you don't, you missed. But for Toastmasters, you will have lifetime access for $297. No one out in the space is going to offer you such an incredible opportunity. And the reason I'm able to offer an opportunity at this level is because I actually make a living as a speaker outside of this space, outside of Toastmasters. I am a paid professional speaker. So I can turn around and offer deep discounts and opportunities to my fellow Toastmasters. I can't give it away for free, but I can definitely offer you at a substantial deal because I do well outside of Toastmasters as a speaker. And I want to give back and I want to help as much as I can. And I really believe those that really want to go from Toastmaster to professional speaker, this is the doorway that you should be walking through. Another person that invested said after investing in Johnny's speaker course, I've been able to go from no fee speaker to a highly paid speaker in less than a year. Johnny's program provided me step-by-step approach for any aspiring speaker, veteran speaker alike to make money. That's the whole point. If you want to be paid to speak, you need a program that's going to guide you along and help you get the breakthroughs that you are looking for. In other words, the results, the opportunities, and that's what this can do for you. So once again, the Poor Man's Guide to Professional Speaking, total special is $297, lifetime access. My final thoughts are simply this as you listen to this webinar. You have a choice. You can continue down the path that you've gone, or you can reach out and receive the type of help that can allow you to be a paid professional speaker. The investment is small, but the results could be huge in your life. It's about taking action. If this is what you want to do, if you really want to help people improve and be better, you have to improve and be better first. You have to take that first step, make the investment in yourself, make the decision to do this, and from this you will grow and you will become so much more. and you'll impact more people's lives and help more people because you have grown. And then you can do as I'm doing and give back. So the question is, do we have a deal? You're going to get the Poor Man's Guide to Professional Speaking, the website, social media, business critique, personal speaking, business documents, a one-on-one coaching session with me, which includes all the new and extra stuff that I already promised, and lifetime access. The investment is $297. Now, if you're watching this video here, you can either order by emailing or texting me, or if it's on this page, I'm not sure where you're watching this, but if you're watching this on a web page, there should be a button below where you could actually place the order. Now, if you were interested in the Win the Crowd presentation training, that's also available. You'd have to email me, and I can send you all the details on that as well. But what I want you to focus on is, if you want to go from Toastmaster to professional speaker, $297 will start you down that path. Plus, you get my support and all of my resources to help make that happen. The only question is, are you ready? If you watch this video this long, you know that you're ready. It's just about placing the order. Go below, click on the order button, and order it if you're on the web. If you're watching this video any other place, you can email me or text me, or if you've got a question, email me or text me, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. But once again, this is Johnny Campbell, the Transition Man, Accredited Speaker, DTM. I want to really encourage you to think about taking that step right now. Take the step, order the course, get started, and you'll be amazed at what you can become in a short period of time. I want to thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to serving you in the future.